If you can spare that extra couple of hundreds, get an electric breast pump, not a manual one.
Okay, let's do this in 3, 2, 1. It's Thrive time.
Hi beautiful people, welcome and welcome back to Thrive Out Loud. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. First things first, house rules. In here, will like, will comment, will subscribe. Click on those bell notifications and then comment. Please tell a friend to tell another friend to come and join us for our breakfast, our brunch, our lunch, our dinners, whatever time it is that you are giving this a watch or a listen. Thank you so much for giving me a chance. Just gonna click a fella. Somewhere, somehow, you have contributed to the algorithm, and I am forever grateful. Today's episode is dedicated to the mommies, new moms, expecting moms, a veteran mom, you name it. I'm just literally here to share on my experiences. Please note, I am not a professional. This does not constitute as professional advice. If you do need professional medical advice regarding anything at all, ranging from conception to pregnancy to birth and beyond, please do make sure that you consult with a registered professional, because I am not a professional. So, last time where I left the motherhood stuff was my birth story. If you haven't had a look, do check it out. I'll link it somewhere here. And I basically went into the details of the birth story, from the part where my water broke, to the part where I was induced, to the part where I started seeing actual flames, to the part where I met my bundle of joy, and beyond that. So today's episode, I want us to touch on postpartum recovery, and it's a bit late. I thought I would have done that immediately after the birth story, but life kind of took over. Today I want us to touch on postpartum recovery from my perspective. So since I had I don't like the notion of natural birth, because it suggests that the other birth is not natural, but I had a vaginal birth. I just hope I don't get censored. And the boy done popped out of my hoo-ha, and there was the ring of fire and all, and then it was over. It was literally over within. So when I gave birth to my son, I had no tears, although I was subconsciously preparing not to tear because of the exercise I was doing, the other stuff I had done. I think there was a video that I did on the different hacks, the pregnancy hacks, but let me know if you'd like me to touch on those specifically, because I've got plenty, right? So there's a couple of stuff I was doing to prevent tearing during birth, using an exercise ball was one of them, and doing perineum massages was one of them. But like I said, if you want me to get into those specifically, let me know. Okay, you can just simply leave a comment and say I'm here letting you know. Okay, so gave birth to my son. I had absolutely no tears, which was amazing, because it meant I wouldn't need to get stitched, because a lot of the birthing videos I had seen, people had gotten stitched down there, and that meant going to the bathroom was a bit of a challenge, a brand new challenge. Doing the number 2 after birth was a challenge for them. Doing the number 1 as well, because obviously, you've been stitched, it burns, and having to use like a squeeze bottle, or like some sort of a squeeze bottle to spray water up there, just so you wash everything off after using the bathroom. So definitely happy I've never had to go through that, so unfortunately I cannot advise on that. After giving birth, I think our first doctor's appointment was when he was 3 days old, and that's where they basically check the baby for jaundice, and they check you if you are not getting any infection down there, and especially if you had to get stitched up, because it's an open wound, anything could happen. And they basically check on your health, they check on the texture of your stomach, and they just basically check how you and baby are coming along, if you're producing any milk yet, if they need to intervene, if they need to assist in any way, or if they need to suggest brand new things, or measures to put in place. And that was fine. And then the next one we had, I think he was about 6 weeks, and then we had another one at 10 weeks, and then everything just kind of haywires after that. But today's video, I basically want to touch on your healing postpartum, because it can be quite a journey, and I'm not sure about you guys, but I kind of struggle to find this information, and it's like a lot of people that are willing to share it back or can't. I don't know why, but anyway. So, since I had a vaginal natural birth, it meant there would be a significant amount of bleeding after birth. I expected a lot more, and this is why I got adult diapers, because someone suggested them. And I just thought the mess of using a pad and changing it and using it and changing it and just not being sure if it's on right, if it's full, if it's not, because as a new mom you are exhausted, and sometimes you're even too tired to just, you go to the bathroom when you have to, when you need to, but sometimes you're just so exhausted, and if there's a significant amount of bleeding, it's easy to miss it when maybe it gets too full, it starts leaking and whatnot, and that's something I wanted to avoid. So I was like, just scam adult diapers, get away, and there I went. And that is the hill I was willing to die on, except the bleeding I experienced was not that much. Like, it was bleeding obviously, and it was not like period bleeding, but I expected drama, like I expected bucket loads and bucket loads, but there was none of that, unfortunately. After around a week, then it reduced significantly, and then the next week it was just now trickling in, and I think by week 3 I was fine, man. I was completely fine, back to normal, and everything was great. The next area that will be disturbed by your pregnancy and your birth is the midsection. Basically, right after you give birth, you still look like you're pregnant. You look like you're about, depending on how your stomach was growing and how you grade these things. But anything between 4 to 6 months pregnant, you still look like you're expecting. It's still a young ball on there. And I'm not sure what your stance is on bouncing back, and I don't want to shine a negative light on whether you do it or not. But for me personally, I know for a fact I wouldn't have been able to live with myself if I didn't do anything about the mommy pooch. And so what I got while I was still pregnant, what I got in preparation of postpartum, was one of these bad boys. It's called a waist trainer. Oh, it's upside down. That's basically what it looks like, and I got it's a 25 steel bone waist trainer. This is basically what it looks like, and I got mine in an extra small because I'm a little baby. I'm a little one, huh? I got mine in an extra small. Obviously they needed my measurements before then, and the best fit for me would be the extra small, right? So the day I gave birth, I first tied it with a towel really, really tight, just to try and get someone, like, it feels like a marshmallow, to get all that marshmallowy stuff down, and then I could start waist training, because it still feels fragile, even though you can see your baby, you've given birth to him. Somehow you feel like you'll be hurting someone if you tie your tummy immediately, right? So I think I started waist training from around the second day, like when he was about a day old, like the next day, the day after I gave birth. That's when I got to take like my normal shower, like my special shower in my house, and tied everything down. Bona, if you just asked me to open up my shirt, you would have seen a lot of stuff going on, but it has genuinely helped me in everything going back to where it was. And just, I feel like even putting my core back together and assisting with my back as well, because I was in a lot of back pain towards the end of my pregnancy and the beginning of his life. So I felt like I needed that back support, and this one, like, it will have you chest out and everything will just be nice and straight and supported. So if you're someone who shares the same sentiments and you're just trying to go back to normal, then I would really recommend this. I think I ordered this one from a store called She Wasted. I'll leave their details down in the description box, so you can get hold of them if you want. I'm not forcing anyone, and get if you want. Right. Another small problem I had experienced with my midsection as well was the fact that my skin texture was now not the same. So I didn't get any stretch marks during my pregnancy because I was moisturizing often, like maybe every hour I was just on the rubbing shea butter, coconut oil. There was a third thing, and tissue oil, and I was just mixing all of that, and I was always basically sticky because I was trying to avoid like a dry skin situation, because I believe it's when the skin is dry that it stretches really violently, and that's where the stretchies come from. But I'm not judging stretchies. I find them beautiful on someone else, on other people. On me personally, the sharp. So the problem was that after giving birth, because now my tummy has stretched, and now it has gone back, but the skin that had stretched now needs somewhere to go, right? It's basically dried out skin, and it needs somewhere to go. So I had to use a lot of bath scrubs, bath salts, body scrubs to basically assist with that process, where the top layer of my skin, like, it was already peeling off on its own, but so it needed to peel off. So I was using a lot of exfoliants, a lot of manual power to basically assist that. And another thing that assisted me, I just don't have it now. I don't have it anymore because I use it all. There is this Scent Galore Afri-Glow butter. I'll find Afri-Glow butter on here. And this butter literally changed my whole entire life. It'll make you yellow, like in a literal sense, not yellow bone. Not what you're thinking. Not yellow bone, yellow in a literal sense, but the healing properties in that butter are magical. So I feel like combining the exfoliants and the body scrubs and body sugars, and that, you, like, literally within 2 weeks, you couldn't tell on my skin that anything had ever happened. And I really have to give her flowers as well. I just haven't ordered her products in a while, so I can't really give that Freestyle Friday shout out like I do with other black owned businesses, but soon as I get another order in, I definitely will, right? And then that's it with the midsection. The next problematic part for me were this area here. The girlies on here were burning. Okay, I feel like the day after my son was born, or the second day, like, soon as my boobs realized that there's something going on with a person and a mouth on here, they decided to just act up. My nipples were cracking, they were burning, there were just a lot going on. And so coconut oil really helped me in this regard. And there's also this Elizabeth Ann's, it's like this rose gold tube for nipples. It's a nipple cream or nipple care cream. And yeah, so basically I was applying that like, I don't know, like my daily bread, okay, because my nipples were on literal fire, and that helped a lot, because in like 2 days, then all of that was gone, all of that drama was gone, and my son and I could now enjoy our nursing journey, because I was finding it hard to enjoy what was going on because everything was uncomfortable. Okay, then still on the bosom area, as a new mom with a lot of let down milk, and depending on how long you take in between feeds, sometimes your boobs might get extremely full and you're not really sure what to do with it. So in as much as you're still fully breastfeeding and you're with your baby all the time, you might want to consider starting to pump now, especially if you are at some point going to go back to school or work, or you will be leaving your baby with someone else. I feel like this is now the point where you can start pumping or expressing milk using a breast pump, whether manual or an electric one, and basically storing your milk in a deep freezer in these little icicle bags. I call them icicle bags for your baby. And whenever that you need to be out and about, maybe you need to run some errands and you can't go with your baby or something like that, then they have milk that is available on hand. And also on that note, at the breast pump, if you can spare some extra hundreds, let me come closer. If you can spare some extra hundreds, like, I don't care if you feel like the difference is just 200 and you can use it for something else, but if you can spare that extra couple of hundreds, get an electric breast pump, not a manual one. You'll thank me later. I had a manual breast pump right in the beginning, and I thought, nah, I'm the girl, and I was pumping, and then I realized this can't be life, because it means for that duration that I'm pumping, I had a generous amount of milk being supplied. Like, I had a healthy milk supply, and it didn't take that long, but in that 15 minutes where I could be doing something else with my hands, I was here. And it also meant my baby couldn't, like, I couldn't be holding my baby and pumping at the same time, because I'd normally pump both boobs. Or if I have him on the one and I want to pump the other, obviously my attention is now divided. But once I got the electric one, and what was nice is the fact that it had like a double pump thingy, so you could pump both your boobs at the same time. Whereas with a manual one, unless you're gonna get 2 manual pumps, you are only gonna be able to pump one breast at a time. And the way boobs behave, when one has a letdown, the other one wants to have a letdown as well. When one lets out milk, the other one also wants to let out milk. Okay. And then the last generic overall problem, I'm now solving problems. The last genetic problem that might rock up as a result of pregnancy or giving birth is the hyperpigmentation. Basically, if your skin is still like to the T by the time you give birth, I feel like you're God's favorite child, honestly. But for the majority of us, our color changed during pregnancy, and you might try to find ways to get back to it. Just be patient with yourself. It's normally not a permanent thing, and it normally goes away on its own. But again, I have that Afro-Glow butter cream that I referred to earlier, because I was using it on my face, like everywhere, on my face, on my body, everywhere, like over on my ass. I was using it everywhere, and it helped me profusely, and I felt like it helped me balance out everything. It left me feeling moisturized and just hydrated, and like I'm taking good care of my skin. Okay, I'm not sure what I might have left out. Let me know if you want a separate video about the different hacks during pregnancy and once you have a baby, different ways of doing things quicker, and the different baby milestones that I experienced, that I had with my son. I'll be more than happy to share all of those. Okay, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. As always, it is such a joy sitting here talking about this. It looks like motherhood, it makes me feel happy talking about motherhood, pregnancy, and everything related to it. If you have a topic, suggestion, a Q&A, anything you want ironed out, please feel free to slide down into the comment section, or slide into my DMs, or slide somewhere. Just slide. But I want to hear what you think. I'd really love to hear from you guys. I do appreciate the feedback that I receive from you, however big, however small. It is always very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.